Hey, Alfred Johnson, I'm coming at you again from the Faith Action Ministry Alliance. What a delight it is to be able to talk with you. Today, we're going to be speaking about solutions. Solutions. All right? Bunch of social ills, especially as it deals with the low-income communities, and we need the solutions. And today, we're going to be talking about them. And we're going to be looking to get you more involved with the solution, and you can be. Now, some of you are already engaged in various types of services to the low-income community, and we would like to be able to augment some of your service models for dealing with the low-income community. So I hope your ears are perked up and that you're ready to hear. All right? Now listen, up to this point in time, typically, whether you're speaking about black leadership trying to help out their people in the low-income communities, or whether you're talking about general not-for-profits helping everyone that's coming typically from the not-for-profit communities or government agencies, most of them feel as if government support is highly important. Just to have the resources. And typically most of those programs deal with the effects of what's going on in low-income communities. They're dealing with the effects. And so that's the same as, a cancer is deep within a person's body until finally it breaks through the skin. And then you find all kinds of generous and good organizations zealously going about to find a Band-Aid for what has broken through the skin, but not dealing with the cancer that's beneath the skin that caused the outbreak in the skin to begin with. We've got to go way deeper, and it's going to be at a great cost. It's going to take a lot of energy. It really is. And hey, but this is what has to be done. This is the demand that love makes on all of us for the time that we are living in. All right. Now, these are the kind of solutions that we bring. So, but let's go ahead and speak about dealing with it on the surface level, which is typically what takes place. We're dealing with the effects of the social ills. I'm involved with a whole lot of different organizations. I purposefully plug myself in for the purpose of seeing and hearing from the various professionals, skilled individuals at conducting and hosting social programs that help out the low-income community. And I can tell you this, for certain, it's the effects that are being dealt with. Somehow we are convinced that the effects provide either the bridge to the answer or the answer itself. Okay, it's not going to happen. It's not going to work. All right? We have to literally get back to the source of where those problems are coming from, which means that we're going to have to make a determined effort to get into the neighborhoods with regular kind of what I call systems operations that are regular, that bring us as close to the family and to the regular behaviors of the community as possible. That is, those who desire to bring healing have to be very much a part of the community itself. Our presence has to be felt. A lively, active, moral, principled presence, compassionate presence, purposeful presence in the communities. Now, there's a price to pay for that. That doesn't come easily, which is one of the main reasons why I believe that it's probably not being implemented, because it takes a lot of energy, and yes, it costs a lot of money, and it costs a lot of emotion to get in there and serve on those terms. But if we don't do that, you can throw trillions of dollars at the social ills, and you will answer none of them. Okay? We won't answer any of them. We have to get right down to the core. So there's the need to implement systems. And what I mean by systems are regular operations taking place by good people, and in particular from Christians who know what's at stake, and they're willing to follow the Christ in implementing measures that get us close to people, and that help us to bring things into their lives that are both reasonable, principled, moral, all right? That we're able to share into people's lives. These systems are varied. They're not even difficult. I'm telling you the truth, this stuff just isn't difficult, people. But I mean, how can I say this? It's not complicated. Difficult, but not complicated. It's just certain things that have to be done. They have to be done. Now, systems. There are a variety of them that we're able to use. And you only want to use systems that are in demand. There's no need to try to impose on a neighborhood with systems that they don't feel are necessary. Your activity will be viewed as an intrusion into the community, and they will let you know such, especially at the neighborhood association level. But then many of the community members themselves will let you know that they're feeling like what you're doing is an intrusion. You have to be able to serve in a capacity that is based on a felt need that is in the community. A felt need. That is, on their end, they know it's a need. Now, I can tell you how we did it from our end, how we are doing it at the Faith Action Ministry Alliance. A simple survey that gives us a lot of benign information from the community, just good information that we can use to find out what the felt needs, what are these general felt needs of the community. Once you've established what those felt needs are, then you are able as organizations or as individuals or as heads of household to work together to create systems that answer those felt needs. You are operating within the neighborhood. No, you're not operating from a place outside the neighborhood and hoping to bring them to you. No, you're bringing these systems into the community, right into the neighborhood where these families are and where these children are and where these needy adults are. You bring it into the community. Let me give you a few examples of these systems that will allow you to speak into the lives of the children. Number one, education. We do know that in the low-income black community, especially, I'm over here in Hillsborough County, our schools are good. I mean, from the superintendent to the school board, I'm telling you, these people are compassionate. They are dedicated to what they do. It's good. The teachers themselves, the majority of them, I'm telling you, they're doing the best they can, and it's very good. There's something else that's going on in the black community, however, or the low-income community, rather, that makes for a great challenge on their part. Without having a proper structure at home, you're going to be dealing with behavioral issues and behavioral disorders that is going to be very difficult for the teachers to deal with. All right. The graduation rate here in Hillsborough County is you're looking in about 75% or so. And you might say, well, that's pretty good. I mean, if the graduation rate is 75 or 76%, that's not bad. You're looking at about a C. Yeah, but that doesn't really tell the story. That doesn't really tell the story. The graduation rate of the white community is in the middle to upper 80s. All right. The Spanish a little bit lower than that. And so what's happening is the low-income community is actually pulling that average down. Okay, that average is being actually pulled down to 76%. In the black community, especially, again, this is my expertise. This is where I operate. Especially among the black males, our graduation rate is lower than any other ethnic group in the country. All right, and so these things have to be addressed, but they have to be addressed close to home. Close to home. All right. I've run into programs to where there are schools that are wanting to take the kids out of the neighborhood that they're in, take them to school and keep them in school for many hours. I mean, for like 11 hours. And they have a bunch of different programs that they use to help the kids, you name it. They teach them how to play chess. They teach them dance, various arts after school, like extracurricular activity. They do all these kind of things, and that's all well and good. But their solution is to keep the kids away from their community so that they don't get caught up into the street life, into the criminal life. The only problem is that's going to be a short-lived solution. That's short-lived, simply because you can only have so many people in your school. Okay, you're not going to be able to have all the kids from a particular community impacted by what's going on in your school. All right, so we're going to be kicking out a bunch of behavioral disorders and a lot of dysfunction from the low-income communities that you're not going to be able to answer. The answers must be done in those areas, in those communities, and it needs to be done systematically and comprehensively with as many players involved as you possibly can, because I'm telling you, the energy level has to be very high, coming from the local churches, coming from Christian not-for-profits, coming from neighborhood associations that have the same common interests, that come from heads of household that are very much interested in healing their community, that comes from the business community, and yes, it could come from the political community as well, but with the understanding that we're not just developing programs. No, we're developing active, lively systems that penetrate the barriers that would keep people out of actual neighborhoods and away from families. So let's go ahead and mention some of these systems. Number one, schools. I've already mentioned that. The schools. The schools allow us to go and provide private education, not as a competitor against the public schools. No, we're offering a variety. You have the charter schools, you have magnet schools, you have the general public schools, but then Christian schools have a major role to play in helping to heal our time. Private schools. So we have a school that is established. It's called Grant Park Christian Academy. Grant Park Christian Academy reaches out to the children in the area of Grant Park And it's an amazing thing. Not only are you able to create a different kind of environment for these students, providing a bunch of compassion, a bunch of love, firm boundaries, good strong moral teaching, as well as a healthy, rigorous curriculum, but you're also able to get into the lives of their families. You're meeting these mothers, these young mothers, and as many fathers as who are available, you're able to meet them on a more personal level. All right. Let's just, I tell you what, let's speak from the level of church activity. Typically, when we go to families and we want to talk to them about helping them and introducing them to the good things that God offers to all humans, you end up running into a religious impasse. Okay, there are just certain people that don't want to talk about religious ideas. And so what happens is, if you're only utilizing that one bridge as a method of evangelism, that bridge can only hold so many people. Okay, and so you want to be able to build as many bridges as you can to the community as possible. When you use education, it sort of tears down certain barriers that people have in their minds about meeting new people, meeting respectful people, responsible people, moral people. The wall is down. I can tell you that with the establishment of the school, we were welcomed into homes more readily than any form of social healing program that I'd ever experienced before. The schools, all right? Again, so now you have the children from as young as you can get them. Of course, I would hope that many of these Christian schools, you would do it right from the preschool time, because you're getting as close to home as you can in a particular neighborhood. And you have those children grow up right there in the context of your school, being taught good, strong, moral principles, teaching them also to be active in the community in a way where they're led by the adults of their school, where you go ahead and yes, you do those community cleanups, get your kids to wear their t-shirts, get out in the community, let people see them, teach the children their responsibility in maintaining their community, in beautifying their area, in caring for people. Teach them their responsibility to be productive so that they can help better things in their own area. Things of that sort. Teaching them the moral responsibility of being lawful and respectful citizens in that regard, not taking from anyone else. So you let them know their place in the world that they're in, and you're able to do that in a good context when they are in a Christian school. Furthermore, you're able to appeal to something deeper within the child, and you want to appeal to that deep part of the child, the conscience. That anchor to the soul is what helps the child to develop in ways that I believe are not paralleled in the public school systems. Because of course, separation of church and state, they don't introduce these components. I believe that the component of being able to speak to the conscience of the child is one of the greatest strengths that are provided by a private school education. Now, this is just one of the bridges that can be built to heal a neighborhood. A low-income neighborhood. Have the leaders right there on the local level next to their homes in the very neighborhood, speaking to the children, speaking to the parents, having quarterly meetings where the principal or the administrator or somebody from the school is able to come and speak to the parent along with the child and offer helps and counsels and develop good friendships and things of that sort. Beautiful, beautiful stuff. The other things that can be done, typically in the low-income community, because you're dealing with a single-parent household, and there's another factor we're dealing with, in the low-income communities, the rate of young men going to jail or going to prison, is high in comparison with the other races per capita. Okay, makes for difficulty. Well, when these young men get out of prison or get out of jail or whatever, if they have a felony, then it's very difficult for them to get a job. If they can't get a job, they're going to be loitering around a bit, and after a while, when they get frustrated, discouraged enough, they're going to go back to what was bringing them money in the beginning, and it's going to make for more social ills. What has to happen is on the neighborhood level, again, there has to be solutions that are developed within the neighborhood. Okay, staffing agencies, things of that sort, where again, and not just a staffing agency, you don't just open a business, not good enough. You have to go to the conscience of the individual. You need leaders who are going to be running those institutions who have morality inculcated in them. They have good values instilled, and they're able to pass those along. Things about building family, building financial stability, things of this sort, moral responsibility as leaders and as men, to have these things passed on and inculcated to those who are coming to the staffing agency to be trained and screened. These things are of vital importance for a neighborhood, all right? Huge importance. But these are the kinds of systems that would be needed on a neighborhood level. I emphasize that. You don't want to open it up to the whole city. Our goal is not to start a private school and then open it up to the entire city. That is not going to work. It needs to be focused within certain parameters, so that you're dealing with all of your students are coming directly from that neighborhood. You're able to begin to train and inculcate these truths that are vital for their development. And I'm telling you, we can do this. Now, I've only mentioned to you 2 of these systems. There are a variety of them. You know, you might ask, how is it that we go about to develop the systems? We will cover that on our next video. God bless you.